So this is the first time I've actually used my proper camera. Normally I just record videos on my webcam, but today I thought, do you know what? I'm actually going to use a real camera, which was a pretty bad choice because firstly, the color grading is awful. I have no idea how to use proper cameras, so I feel really dull and washed out. And secondly, because the picture quality is a lot better, you can see all my acne and my stress spots. I did also get only about 3 hours sleep last night, so like I am feeling a bit rough. You can see the tufts in my hair. However much wax I use, like if I've had 3 hours sleep, the hair's not gonna happen. It's not happening. I've got eye bags, I've got enlarged pores, I've got the stress spots, but do you know what? I'm doing it anyway. Also, back by popular demand, I moved my microphone back to the right hand side because I know a lot of you were complaining that in my videos you could see the microphone in the corner and it was a little bit annoying. So I've moved it back. You're very welcome. So I asked Q&A questions on Instagram and you guys have answered. I also asked you guys on YouTube, so thank you very much for answering too. Going through the Instagram ones first, literally the very first response, like literally the first, where was the craziest place you woohooed? It may or may not have been descending from a cable car on a tropical island in the middle of summer. That is all I'm going to say about it. Will you be getting a new car? For those of you who don't know, basically my car failed its MOT and the cost to repair it was like more than the value of the car itself. So I just scrapped it because, you know, I'm moving to Manchester anyway and I probably won't need a car in the city. It was a very old car. It's my grand's old car. She doesn't drive anymore, so she gave it to me for free. She gave it to me just when I got back from Japan and like I really needed a car and I didn't want to buy an expensive car because I knew I'd be only using it for a maximum of 2 years anyway. It's almost 20 years old. Like it is that old. To be fair, it lasted me a long time. Like I could drive on the motorway with it completely fine. Like it was a perfect little car. It was just a bit old, so it didn't stand the test of time. Snog, marry, avoid, Don Lothario, Mortimer Goth, Daddy Vladdy. By the way, snog, marry, avoid is the British way of saying marry, kill. I think I'd snog Don Lothario. I think he's there for like a good time, not a long time. Like you wouldn't want to trust him. Do you know what I mean? Marry Mortimer Goth just for the money. I'm sorry. And I think avoiding Daddy Vladdy's a bit of an obvious one. What's the inspiration of the creation of Shantelle, and Shanice? Firstly, Shantelle and Shanice are chavs. According to Google, it's a derogatory informal noun, a young person of a type characterized by coarse and brash behavior. Chavs have taken over TikTok, so on Google Images, you'll find lots of TikToks, including Kim Kardashian's version of a chav. Shanice is heavily inspired by Vicky Pollard from the show Little Britain. You can probably see the resemblance to Shanice. So who would have thought just by watching my Let's Plays, you are getting a British culture lesson? Single question mark, yes. Not gonna lie, like if I fell in love, honestly, I think it would send me, it really would send me over the edge because like I'm just not here for it right now. I've got so much on my plate. I've got so much work to do. I've got to move house. I've got to deal with a lot. I couldn't be bothered with the relationship. I mean, if it happened, it happened, but like I'd be a bit annoyed if it did happen. Do you like Taylor Swift? I actually like some of her older country music and I like that she's like remastering some of the older songs. I'm not gonna lie, I really don't like that narrated pop. Like, you know that pop music that sounds like they're reading a storybook? You know, a lot of modern Taylor Swift music is like, well, my best friend once said my boyfriend, so I dumped him. Like, it's like telling a story. Or you know that music, like A, B, C, D, F, U. It's like I'm being read a story time book. I don't like it. Like, I know Taylor Swift is very popular. Like, she's a very big American artist, one of the biggest right now. I just can't deal with being told a bedtime story. Although I like her older music. And I know I'm going to get a lot of hate for that because a lot of people in the Sims community are very big Taylor Swift fans. To be fair, I don't really like that much chart music in general. Like, I know this is a bit controversial, but like, you know, if I'm on a date with a guy or something and he only listens to like top 10 charts music, it is a little bit icky for me. I usually like listening to like older pop music from like back in the day, like artists that I completely forgot about, then I just randomly remember. Like recently I've been listening to Gwen Stefani recently and like all of her older pop songs, and I've been listening to all of the No Doubt greatest hits. Like I just like listening to the older ones when I listen to pop. How many siblings do you have? I have an older brother who is exactly 10 years older than me. Which country did you like the most of all that you went to on your Europe trip? I would say Hungary. I've only been to Budapest. Budapest was really, really beautiful. I genuinely went there with absolutely no expectations. I did not even like Google images of Budapest. Like I went there knowing absolutely nothing about it. It is a bit of a tourist trap, but you don't feel like a walking, talking taking money back. Like, you know, when you go to some countries and people literally just look at you like you're a big sack of money because they just want to exploit you as a tourist. Obviously, it was a bit like that, like any big city, but it wasn't like severe. It felt quite normal, but like the buildings, the vibe, there was quite a lot to do there, and it felt quite casual, but it was also very beautiful, and it was really cheap. Guys, if you haven't tried it, like the Hungarian goulash is amazing. How do you always keep positive? I feel like that's a little bit sarcastic because like I'm a miserable bitch in all my videos. Do you know what? In real life, I am very positive. You know, when British people are complaining all the time, it's actually us when we're happy. Like when British people are moaning, like we're really in our element, and like, you know, the serotonin is like really high. Honestly though, like I would say generally I'm a very happy person. Like I think I just deal with problems very well. Like, you know, if there's a problem, I just have to find the solution and do the thing to resolve the problem. Do you know what I mean? I'm not one of those people that cries about problems and gets like overwhelmed by them. Like if there's an issue, like I just deal with it and then it's done and then it's gone. It's like, you know, when people have a problem and they come to you about that problem, they don't want you to provide them a solution. They just want to talk to you, or they just want you to give them a hug. I'm not one of those people. Like if you talk to me about a problem, I'll just give you a solution. Like I'm not going to hug you. I'm not going to be an emotional support punch bag. Like I'm literally just going to give you the solution. It honestly boggles my mind when people just complain about problems, but they literally do nothing to resolve it. Like if you've got a problem, just solve it and it's gone. I wouldn't say I'm unhappy recently because I am not unhappy at all. I'm very happy. I just got very burnt out with The Sims 4 a little bit. Like I will be totally honest with you, like The Sims 4 does lack the ambition of all of the older Sims games. It really does. And there's only so much you can cover like one single thing before you start getting really nitpicky, especially compared to a lot of other Sims content creators, because I know I'm one of the most miserable ones, but I honestly think it's because I'm one of the only ones that like constantly does news and info content. I know a lot of you guys are literally only come to me for the news and information. You're not bothered about the let's plays. So like I do feel an obligation to you guys to constantly do news and information content, which I love doing, by the way, and I'm 100% happy to do it. But I think when you're constantly covering like facts and information, it gets to a point where you've heard the same thing so many times that it kind of washes over your head, so you just focus on like the smaller details. And I think I was doing that recently, you know, with the latest Horses trailer, and I didn't look at the big picture and I got a little bit miserable. I mean, I'm still very adamant on the fact that this is not an expansion pack. It is a game pack's worth of content, and it is exploitive and very poor value for money. But like, I didn't look at any of the positives at all. Like I only focused on the price, and I got very nitpicky, and I got a bit, you know, in my own head. I think all humans do that. It is natural. So I'm not gonna, you know, this is my YouTube apology video. I know all YouTubers do an apology video at some point. I'm not at that stage yet, so I'm not apologizing because I'm literally just a human being. I think there's this weird expectation for like all content creators to be perfect and righteous all the time. Some people are very good at that, and they're very good at putting on an act, but you know, like I don't have a filter. You guys know that about me, and like if I'm in a shitty mood, I will be shitty on camera. I can't be fake happy. Like it's not for me. We can't all possibly be happy all the time. Happiness is only 1 out of the 5 core emotions. 4 out of the 5 human emotions are actually negative ones. Only 1 is positive. So it's very natural to not be happy all the time. And as a person who literally just can't be fake, like I've always been a terrible liar. If somebody's like boring me, like I will sit there with a straight face, like I can't pretend to be interested. If somebody says, are you feeling good today? Like I will say no if I'm not. Like I just can't help myself. Like I know it's good sometimes to lie, and it's good to tell white lies, and in some respects it is a good thing to be fake, but I just can't be fake even when you need to be. And I know that's, you know, a bad trait and I need to work on it, but that's just me. But for the most part, I am positive. Taking a look at your YouTube comments, would you ever do a long let's play with multiple parts, a series? That would be really cool to watch. I personally like to do 1 episode long let's plays, or when I cover the Sims 3 packs, normally they're 3 episodes because they're literally so big I have to. To be fair, the one thing that actually really surprised me is that when I do the longer let's plays of the Sims 3 that are 3 episodes long, I'm actually debating doing a full let's play series for the new Horse Ranch pack, depending depending on how much content is in the pack. So you guys let me know if you would like to see a longer Let's Play series. I'm more than happy to experiment with it. What made you decide to pick Sims for your channel? Did you ever consider other games for your content? I picked The Sims because I know The Sims like the back of my hand. I've played The Sims ever since the first game. I know all the cheat codes. I know the way the game works in every single Sims game. Obviously, to cover something on YouTube, you have to kind of know what it is you're talking about. Like, you can't just make a YouTube channel about something that you don't really understand that well. I knew I wanted to make a gaming channel. There's a lot of games that I know very well, but I felt like The Sims was the easiest game to make content for because it's very moddable. At one point, I actually really wanted to make an RPG gaming channel because I love RPG and JRPG games, but there are literally so many YouTubers doing that kind of content. Like, I have no idea what I could add to that gaming space that would be different and unique, so I just didn't bother. A related question, why do you choose to create content about something that makes you bitter and disappointed? Good question. I wouldn't say I'm bitter at all. I would just say I'm honest. Like, if a pack is bad, I will say it's bad. If EA does something that's genuinely good with The Sims 4, I will mention it. Like, recently I did a video on the brand new Sims 4 scenario that just came out, and it was actually a really good scenario, and I thought it was really well implemented, and I really enjoyed it. And it was a very positive, upbeat video about the scenario. And like, if you look through my channel, like, not every single video is a Sims 4 hate video. Most of them are either like positive or neutral. I think the way the YouTube algorithm works, if you watch one video that's miserable and moany, the YouTube algorithm will think, oh, you must like miserable and moany videos. So what often happens is people only ever get recommended by YouTube my miserable moany videos because that's what the algorithm thinks you like. If I make a positive video, the algorithm won't recommend it to you because it thinks you don't like the positive content from me. It thinks you only like the negative. So a lot of people say like, oh, I only upload bitter videos. I genuinely upload mostly positive. It might just be that the algorithm isn't showing you, but I'm just not gonna lie and be like fake happy. Like, I know there's a lot of Sims creators out there who are genuinely happy and love The Sims, and they literally don't complain about a single thing, and they're very upbeat. So feel free to watch them. My favorite Sims YouTubers who have upbeat content, Vixella. I think Vixella is really, really entertaining, and she's very good at her job. Karen and Connie, they have great banter. They're hilarious and always upbeat. Lilsimsie is very upbeat about The Sims. By the way, there was a rumor going around that like I hate Lilsimsie and like I'm really toxic towards her. I genuinely don't know what you're talking about. I have a lot of respect for the girl. I don't know anything about her. I've never spoken to her in my entire life. But as far as I'm aware, she did start YouTube like just out of college. So I assume this is like her only like real job. And she works very hard. She uploads daily videos. She does streaming on Twitch. She does a lot of charity work. She's raised a lot of money. I think it's very admirable. I've seen a lot of people saying like, oh, Satch hates on Lilsimsie. I honestly don't know where this has come from. I feel like, you know, one person says something online and everybody just believes it's true without actually fact checking it. I mean, I'm guilty of doing that. I think we all do that. Like, we see something online and we just believe it's true without ever actually questioning whether it is or not. I think loads of people have just assumed that I have because I've made a couple of jokes before about how she's really family friendly and upbeat, whereas I'm a not so family friendly, miserable bitch in comparison. But it's not like in a hateful way, like, oh, I hate you because you're so upbeat. Like, of course it's not. I've only mentioned it a couple of times as a fleeting reference, as, you know, just a light-hearted joke, that it's funny because I know most of you who watch me also watch her. And I think it's amusing that you watch one YouTuber who's so upbeat about something, but then another YouTuber who's really miserable about the exact same thing. I think it's a funny contrast. It's not like hate, like it's not that deep. So yeah, there are many positive, upbeat YouTubers. I wouldn't say I'm a bitter one. If you only focus on the negative, that's all you see. If you focus on everything, you see everything, and that's what I try and do. Satch, what other games do you play? What's your favorite game franchise outside of The Sims? Sims, I love you, but I'm sorry you're not my favorite game. My favorite game of all time is The Legend of Zelda. I'm genuinely emotionally attached to The Legend of Zelda. I'm not emotionally attached to any other game. I still play like Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask at least once per year. Like, I love them genuinely so much. I also love RPG and JRPG games. My favorite RPG game is Final Fantasy. I played all the Final Fantasies, love them all. The newest one, it's turned more into an action game than an RPG, so I'm not sure how I feel about it, but in general, I love them all. I love Persona 5. I love the new Hogwarts Legacy game. I love tycoon games as well, or simulation games. You know, when I was younger, we didn't call them simulation games. We called them tycoon games. Roller Coaster Tycoon, Zoo Tycoon, Hospital Tycoon, Hotel Tycoon. Like, there's so many tycoon games I played all my life, and I still love playing them now, the simulation games. City Skylines is my favorite. I spent hours on that that one, and I'm very excited for the new game that's coming out. What would be your dream Sims pack if you could create one? I've always wanted to see a reality TV pack in The Sims 4. I've always wanted to be able to like create a reality TV show, or have my Sims like star in a reality TV show and like set it up in build mode and things, and have like cameras on them like Big Brother. I think it would be really difficult to implement, but if they could do it in a way that was really good, I would genuinely love it. What have you learned on your YouTube journey, and what is your advice for those who are starting out? I have learned to not be a defeatist about failure. I had a really rough time with YouTube when I first started because I spent like every single waking moment trying to work really, really hard on my channel. And at that time I had a full-time job. I was living in Japan. Every morning before work, evening after work, every single day that I had time off, I was only focusing on YouTube. When I got back to England as well, it was the same thing. I had a full-time 9 to 6 job. Every single evening after work, every weekend I was working on the channel, and it literally just was not growing for like 2 years. All of my videos got a maximum of like 100 views each, and I was really demotivated. But the thing that got me through it was understanding failure is not a bad thing. Failure is an excellent thing. If you fail, it doesn't mean you're doing something bad. It means you're not doing something good. It's like a glass half full mentality. Like if you're failing at something, it just means there's an issue and you need to improve on that issue, and then you've improved. I think a lot of people start YouTube and they're like, yeah, I'm gonna get rich quick and I'm gonna make passive income. It's not like that. Like it isn't like that at all. You've got to put so much effort into it and get absolutely nothing in return for like years, and then finally it will become like your full-time job. You just got to be consistent and patient, and I think you just got to understand like it is very, very hard. It's not easy. If somebody's telling you it's easy, they're trying to sell you their course. Nothing good is ever easy. With the recent attention you've received about your content being toxic towards The Sims and rage bait, do you plan to change how you create content, or do you feel that you're just being honest? As I said to a previous question, I do think my reaction to the horses trailer, it was honest, but it was very overly nitpicky, and maybe a little bit too nitpicky. Like I do admit that, because it's not that deep. Like it is literally just a video game. Like it's not deep, but I do have a lot of pride in that my reviews are not upbeat and positive all the time. I take pride, you know, when I do pack reviews, I try really, really hard to be unbiased and not be negative or positive. I try really hard to just see it as it is. Unfortunately, in The Sims 4's case, there are a lot of packs that are really bad, and there are a lot of packs that literally don't work. Like I'm not going to big up a pack like, you know, Dine Out and say this is the best pack I've ever played. The pack is literally buggy and it doesn't work. If a consumer product doesn't work, whether that's digital or physical, like it doesn't work. And I'm not going to be positive and ignore all of the problems, because I know The Sims 4 packs are really expensive, and I don't want to let you guys down by giving you an overly positive review if I genuinely don't feel overly positive about it. I wouldn't say my content is rage bait. I think that's I think that's a bit dramatic. Sometimes controversy works to make videos clickable. Sometimes we all do the cliche YouTuber shock face. I wouldn't say it's like rage bait. Like I don't go in, I want to make you rage. It's not like that. It's not that deep. I'm wondering how you make money on YouTube. Do modders or CC creators pay for a shout out? Sometimes I get emails from modders or CC creators offering to pay me to review their mods. I never ever accept. I would only ever do it for free. YouTubers get paid via ads. So, you know, when you're watching YouTube and an ad pops up, YouTube basically handles the ads. YouTube obviously negotiates with the advertisers, and they decide what ads are shown on your videos, and they decide mostly how they're shown. And I basically just kind of passively make money by the ads that you see. I know YouTube ads are very annoying, but it is the way that content creators are supported in terms of doing their jobs. So thank you very much for patiently watching ads when you click on videos such as mine, because it does support your favorite creators. Do you think other Sims YouTubers sugarcoat The Sims and aren't giving an honest reviews? No, I do not think that at all. Honestly, like I'll be honest with you guys, when you guys like shit on other Sims YouTubers in my comment section, I can't stand it. I'm not saying all of you do that because I know it's a minority, but please, 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 like don't call other Sims creators EA sellouts and things. I don't think it's very nice for two reasons. Firstly, it's their full-time job. If they want to work with EA, let them work with EA. If EA said to me, Satch, honestly, do you want to be a part of the EA Game Changers program? I would say yes, just because I could get the packs for free and just because I could do like early release content for you. At the end of the day, this is our jobs. I think it's very unfair to say somebody is a sellout just for working with a company because it is the nature of the job. I do think most Sims content creators are giving honest reviews. I personally happen to be very critical, but most other Sims content creators are more kind of glass half full. So they naturally give more upbeat reviews than me. It's not that they're lying to you, it's just that they're genuinely happy. If a Sims full review says this is presented by the EA Game Changers Network, it is a sponsored video. Legally, factually, it is sponsored, therefore it is not unbiased. That's not a dig, like that is just a genuine fact. But despite that, I do see most EA Game Changers being very honest. I actually think Plumbella's reviews particularly, by the way, are very, very unbiased. I think she's a lot like me in that she will just say it how it is, but she's a lot more chilled out than me and she doesn't rant like I do. Like she'll say it how it is, but like she won't be a miserable bitch like me. I do think most Game Changers, like they will be honest. Like, you know, when the My Wedding Stories pack came out, all of the EA Game Changers were like, this is shite. And they weren't lying to you about that. So I wouldn't say like, don't trust them. I would just say pick a YouTuber that you resonate with the most and trust their reviews if you resonate with them, regardless of whether they're in the EA Game Changer program or not. But you know, the most constructive, best Sims pack reviewer is always going to be LGR. I've watched his reviews ever since The Sims 3 and I don't intend on stopping. Do you find that being British means that people think you're overly negative or not woke because your audience is mainly American? As a Brit, I've noticed a cultural difference in humor, tone and political priorities that isn't appreciated by American audiences as much. Yeah, so most of the viewers on this channel are American. Only I think about 10% of you guys are actually British. I'm not gonna lie, it can be very difficult because American culture, from my personal experiences and observations, is very emotionally intense when it comes to political issues and very open about them. British people, like, we don't talk about political things. It's very taboo. You would never see somebody talk about politics even with a friend. And we generally just accept the fact that we're all different and we have different views and we don't talk about it. Like, there's a saying, I completely forgot what the saying is, but it's something like, you know, you may think one thing, I may think the other thing, but at the end of the day, we can still go to the pub together and have a good time. That is definitely not a saying. I've just made that up, but there is a similar saying along those lines. But like, being completely honest with you, I'm not saying this in a negative, hateful way. I'm just saying it as a neutral observation. American people online are very much like, this is offensive, this is problematic, this is cultural appropriation. Your views are deep rooted in misogyny and colonialism and racism and transphobia and sexism. Like, American people, from my observations, are very, very big on politics and culture and social politics. And I know you guys have like your amendment rights about like free speech, and I think American culture is very individualistic. This is me, these are my views, and I'm telling you my views, which is lovely, good for you. I think American people get shit done. You have great work ethics. I think American people know what they want and they get what they want. But sometimes as a British person, I do find it very overbearing because our sense of humor is quite satire and sarcastic. And I think sometimes my American viewers think that I'm being very serious when like it's not that deep, and they often take it as like an extremely offensive thing. Also, as some of you guys know, like, I've traveled around the world a lot and I've made a lot of friends from many different countries and cultures, including a lot of American friends. And I've had even a lot of American people tell me, coming from their mouths, not coming from my mouth, but coming from the mouths of American people I know, even they've said to me that American people often forget that the United States is not the world and that it's only one country in the world. Based on my experiences online, I personally find that my American viewers often apply their cultural standards to other people from other countries and other cultures and maybe forget that we're all different. My European viewers are generally a lot more forgiving when I make a very British, sarcastic, offensive joke, because I realize it's because I'm British. I know a lot of British YouTubers, not Sims YouTubers, but British YouTubers in general, they Americanize their content, they use American language, they Americanize their sense of humor, and they even Americanize their accents just so that they could be more widely appealing. I personally can't do that. Like, you know me, like, I can't be fake, so I'm not gonna pretend to like be somebody I'm not, because I just can't do it. I'm just gonna be myself. And I know that does get me in trouble with some viewers who are not British, but that's just a fact that I'm gonna have to accept about, you know, not changing who I am. And I'm fine with that. I'm also fine with my American viewers calling me offensive if they want to do that. Guys, off topic, like this little tuft of hair is really frustrating me. Like honestly, it's because I've had no sleep, and like when I've had no sleep, I can't get rid of my bed head, and that's why my hair looks awful. I do apologize if it's distracting. Anyway, back to my point. Like I do accept like other people from other countries are very different. So like I also accept that some people may not agree with me a lot of the time, and that's completely fine. And if you are an American viewer and you want to tell me how offended you are by me, like 100% go for it, mate. I can handle it. I do want SatchOnSims to be a place where everybody can enjoy it. And I try to find a balance between making my content like widely appealing, but also true to me. So by all means, like give me your true opinions. Don't stop being hateful. If you want to be a troll, carry on trolling. Go ahead, mate. Are you neurodivergent? What does neurodivergent mean? Does that mean mentally disabled? I honestly don't know what that word means, but I think the answer is no. At one point, I did think I was autistic. I'm definitely not autistic. I just have social anxiety. Internally, social anxiety and autism are very different. Externally, they present themselves in extremely similar ways. I've never done an official autism test, but I've done like online ones before, the ones like proper, not like BuzzFeed autism tests, but like proper ones designed by researchers and charities. And every single time I've done it, it's said that I'm like mildly autistic or lower on the spectrum. Maybe I am mildly autistic, but genuinely, I just think I'm a little bit socially anxious. It's just sometimes I genuinely don't know how to act in social situations, and I almost put on a mask like autistic people do. Also, there are some random autistic things that I resonate with. Like I know a lot of autistic people, they can like hear electricity. I hear electricity all the time, and I thought it was normal, but apparently it's not normal. Maybe I am autistic. Anyway, this video footage is currently over an hour long. I don't want to waste your time anymore. I hope you enjoyed the little Q&A. It's very rare I do Satch without the Sims, so I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you in the next one.